Hi, it's Mark here from the Australian DeFi Association and Not Centralised, and I'm pleased to be bringing you a live Getting to Know the Community and Projects show. We've got Erez here from Stables. Thanks so much for joining.
Great to be here. Thank you. And good to be here with the community, and thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure.
Us.
Oh, us, exactly, because there's Bernie, there's the rest of the team.
I refer to myself in the plural.
Yeah, we do that too.
Us? No, that's
it's proper degen mode, right? Like full on GM. Here we are, right?
That's it.
But
me.
we're really glad that you're here because like you guys are a new sponsor for us, and there we go, us. We're together. So thank you very much, first of all, for sponsoring the Australian DeFi Association. We put the announcement out just recently, and it's been well received so far.
Yeah, look, it's been really a pleasure to get to know you guys over the years, and I've known Nick for longer than I should.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to be in this position as a business to support the community. So yeah, thank you for having us. This also works both ways.
No problem. And Nick, before he came and joined Not Centralised, he had helped with his old business raise capital for you guys. And we've seen you guys go from strength to strength and be part of the community. You've been on the community shows as well, or the meetup shows that we've had. So if you guys were here, I think it was like April or May, we had Bernie on the panel, and he also presented on stablecoins. So let's get into that a little bit more. Can you tell us a bit more about your backgrounds and what led you guys to create? It used to be called Tick Money, it's now called Stables, but what led you to create that? What was the inspiration for focusing on stablecoins?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we can start from the beginning.
Please.
So we started Stables about 3 years ago. Myself, my background's in venture capital and corporate advisory and fintech. Working in London for a venture fund, and then was one of the first employees of this company called Equitize in Australia, which is like an investment platform. It was a first of its kind fintech, and we built that into the largest investment platform in Australia. We did IPOs, wholesale, and that got me exposure to lots and lots of companies. I helped raise money for some of the first crypto exchanges in Australia, some of the first kind of early stage blockchain projects, and fashion brands and beer companies and neobanks and all of these various businesses. Along that journey, I met our second co-founder. His name's Daniel.
Okay.
And he has a number of other companies. You could call him a serial entrepreneur, or a guy who likes to jump in the ring and get bashed most of the days
or startup
as it
founders.
is building a business. And I held his hand kind of for his first capital raise, from him sending a bit of a broken cold email to money in the bank.
Wow.
And Daniel is a truly unique kind of guy. He's willing to take risks, but he also trusts people a lot. And we built a very strong relationship. And on my end, I was always keen to build, not just advise, and jump in the ring with him. So we decided to build a company together. And that's when I thought this third chap, who was a bit of a wild card, would be very useful and complementary in that journey. And also just a great guy to be around. So Bernardo is a great friend of mine for maybe close to 10 years now. We went to university together.
Oh, wow.
And we always said that we would love to work together, that what we do is our skill sets and the way we think are complementary. But it wasn't until we actually started building Stables together that we realized exactly how, to the extent of that. So Bernardo is a product guru by day and a bit of a crypto degen by night. I dabbled in crypto and blockchain, like more on the advisory and like small little bets here and there, but Bernie's like been pretty heavily entrenched for a number of years, maybe 6 or 7 years. And the concept of the stablecoin wallet really came about when Bernie, Daniel, and I were sitting down, and we were sitting in this zero interest rate environment. Blockchain was popping off in the middle of, or close to, like the beginning of that last bull run. And we said, well, we can generate a compelling yield on stablecoins, and then we can also embed that in payment systems for people to spend and send. So we started in the yield space. We started with Tick. Tick is your money ticking up in real time. And we navigated that space last year, which was a very difficult year. But fundamentally, we said, if you build a digital wallet from the ground up with stablecoins, then you should at scale have a very efficient means of transferring and storing value. And that's been crystallized to today, where embedded in stables is behind it is all powered by stablecoins. It's an instantly global product where you can store and transmit value at a fraction of a cent per transaction. And just, finally, just in my little ramble to start, is and I might have said this last week when we saw each other at this that presentation for KWM, but the way I think about stables and what we're doing is, up until today, everyone kind of sees crypto as a pretty speculative and volatile ecosystem and place to invest. But fundamentally, at the core of what digital assets are is that it uses cryptography and encryption to enable a peer-to-peer transaction with no middleman. And so at stables, when you use the app, you're not seeing things going up and down in price and graphs and hieroglyphs and all these other things, staking, lending. It's really very simple and functional. So what we thought is that could we build a regulated, functional application of blockchain technology? And that was, 3 years ago, roughly from today.
That's an amazing background that you've got there, and it's really interesting. You mentioned the meetup that we were at. That was for the New South Wales government. They've got a task force on data, digital, and AI because they're looking at the tech. They're not worried about the hype, as many will see in the news, and they just see the headlines. But there's underlying this really powerful tech that makes it easier to transfer value. It makes it easier to have transparency over the type of transactions that you've got. Now, given what you guys have built, let's get into some of the challenges and the triumphs and stuff there. What do you think have been some of the biggest challenges that you faced over the last couple of years at Stables? And how have you overcome those? But can you also share, say, a triumph that you're particularly proud of?
Of course, yeah. I mean, look, we have challenges every day almost, and just depending on how you see the world. Also triumphs every day depending on how you see the world. I think like this is a key example is, so we actually, in terms of the first MVP that we built. So this is a story, it was in the Sydney Morning Herald, it was in the AFR, and it's a good story, but it's also a story that is a cautionary tale for people in general. Okay. And like into this world of blockchain and digital assets we go, right? So we structured, so when we first sat there and we said, okay, can we build this yield product or this stablecoin wallet? I said the only way we can do it, or I was insistent that we regulate it. And that's very hard. It was actually a big challenge. You need to find a financial service license, you need to structure the product, you need to get insurance, you need to do a whole number of things. And especially when it hasn't been done before, it also adds an element of friction. So, thankfully, like from day dot, we invested in regulation and compliance. We actually brought on a bank grade CRO, Chief Risk Officer and General Counsel.
Fantastic. Who
can navigate all of these, pretty complicated and rightfully so licensing requirements. So we built this end-to-end gateway, right? End-to-end gateway, and we started off with sophisticated investors in a closed beta. So we structured a first of its kind regulated gateway into DeFi, where effectively you download an app, you click a button, you deposit AUD, and the money ticks up in real time.
Yeah.
We spent about a month spruiking it from some of our actual investors of mine, a network of ours that were sophisticated investors. They all put on, like, depending on the investor, like 50, 100K. And we had about $2 million, roughly, maybe more or less. And we'd done that in about a month, which is actually not bad, let's say. And on the day that we released the platform, so that was the first month, and that was all contract-based. So manual KYC, manual signing, all of that. And it's a handshake, right? They hadn't gotten the app yet. Then on the day that the app was ready, that was the day, like we sent out an email on like Monday at 8 a.m. or something, and at Monday 8 a.m. UST depegged.
Oh,
Like
okay. It
that
was that
day.
day.
So like we were like the team was pushing
Wow.
hard.
Right.
We were pushing hard, and that day literally depegged, and I was sitting there like, thank you very much.
Great timing.
Now it's like literally crisis mode, like crazy
Yeah.
crisis mode.
Yep.
So in terms of a challenge, that was a challenge that we came in on Monday. We kind of looked at each other even before that on the weekend. We saw some stuff, some smoke.
Yep.
And we've learned a lesson that if you see smoke in crypto, typically you should get out of there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a bad rule of thumb to live by.
Exactly.
And you live to fight another day. So we kind of said, you know, are we here to generate some incremental yield for our client, or are we here to preserve your principal?
Yep.
And like value-based decisions, preserve principle. So we got out unscathed, completely fine. And then I think the challenge and the triumph from there is that permeates throughout your whole business, that type of shock. Because you've got a roadmap, you've got a strategy, you've got expectations, investors, stakeholders, team. And for us, team is everything.
Yep.
We're very proud of the team we've built.
Yep.
Really absolute rock stars that every day of the week I'm proud to rock up in the office with them, right?
Amazing.
So the challenge then is that you need to keep that team aligned. Their expectations were high, they worked very hard, and we launched something and it didn't work. Not necessarily through things in our control, or who's at fault's not important. It's more about how we go from there.
Yep.
So what we did as founders is we very consciously made the situation very transparent to the team, as transparent as possible, as saying like, you know, we've got this much runway, we're now conserving resources, making sure that people are happy with the culture, being as supportive as we can to people. And then, and I think we made mistakes and there were challenges there, but throughout this year, we've had like very little, if any, people leave. The team's still like really strong at the core. And I say that's one of the way that I see the last, since we started Stables, is one of our biggest triumphs is aligning, retaining and growing and nurturing a team, because your business is your team.
Absolutely.
If the business grows, it's a function of your team.
Yeah.
It's something that I say more than I should. And I genuinely believe it's like very important to nurture your people and give them a good environment. So that's something that we navigated and we did well at.
Amazing. So taking it further, there's a lot of companies that we've seen, you know, over at Not Centralized and even like the Oz DeFi Association. We see so many startups come through and projects and amazing founders and whatnot, and they've got great ideas and some need fixing, all that kind of stuff. But we're all here to help the community. But
lots of fixing.
Absolutely, man. Like, you know, put something in front of Nick. Like he'll point out all the problems with it and stuff. That's why we love him. You know, he'll find those little details, and we need that, right? But over to you guys at Stables. What do you think, given that there's all of these other wallets out there and stuff, what is the unique selling proposition for you guys? Like, what makes you stand out from the crowd? You know, what should the audience know?
Yeah, look, great question. I get asked it all the time, especially in a market where there's hundreds of wallets, thousands of wallets, and a pretty diverse competitive landscape. Like, pretty much at Stables, the way I describe it is just, we have just a very simple app. You do one thing or two things, you spend or you send funds. And our users in our beta and community and people who are using cards at the moment every day, 5-10 times a day, what they enjoy is a beautiful experience, super simple, that enables them to spend their Stables.
Nice. You're
not coming into the app seeing trading with 50 different pairs and all of these volatile assets. You're not seeing staking. You're not seeing loans. What we wanted to start off from, and frankly, like, those are good businesses. They're not bad businesses. But they know, the exchanges know, they're too far gone in their app experience to start it all again in a very simple and intuitive way. And that's where we come in. So the team that built Stables, the product, is a team that's built some of the most highly adopted fintechs in Asia Pac or in Australian history.
Amazing.
Pocketbook, Zip Money.
Wow.
Our team is super focused on that experience, making it very simple, very linear, and functional. So, and that's why people love the app and are using the app every day, is that simplicity and utility.
Yeah, none of the fluff, just straight to the point
Yeah.
with what people are after.
You could send your stable in and could spend the time you go up in an elevator. I could top up my wallet,
Yeah.
withdraw from the wallet. And that's the thing, is that the wallet can do a lot of different things, but if you focus on one or two things and do them very well, you can have a very big business. So it's really about simplicity and utility at stables.
I think people just need to click on the links below and start downloading it. But future plans, what comes next? Like, this is great success that you guys have had so far, but where do you see the future going for stables?
We've done all right so far. We have a long way to go. I think us as founders and us as a team, this is us just getting started. It's such an exciting stage now because we can show you the product. I think it's been a long time coming.
Nice.
For better or for worse, but today we've got a strong, beautiful product that people are using every day, which I'm very proud of. So from here, we have a number of things going on. And we have some announcements that are probably coming out in the next couple months or weeks or whatever. We've been very deliberate in what we built with MasterCard and how we've built it so that this card that we've released in Australia will be available to everyone in Europe as well.
Okay.
So that's coming in Q4 this year. So that should be live in December. We will see.
Okay.
Plus or minus 12 months.
Another few Black Swan event. We'll see.
So from a product perspective, that's very exciting. Australia is a great place to build and export fintechs, and Europe is a place where there's a lot of demand for this type of product.
Yep.
So in Europe, you'll be able to do the full on-off ramp using banking rails, holding it in your wallet, and spending.
Amazing.
Actually, just one other thing quickly about the uniqueness of stables. Actually, that just comes to mind. Sorry, is
go ahead.
One thing that's not apparent, and like any community people, if you want to reach out and ask me about this, I'm more than happy to have a chat about it. But it's actually super cool and deliberate. So at stables, one thing that's almost unique is that we don't commingle funds, and we don't rehypothecate funds. So we have built the infrastructure in the back end such that Erez's wallet or Mark's wallet, Nick's wallet, Bernie's wallet, they're actually all in separate wallets that are verifiable on chain. Every time you spend $5 on a coffee, $20 on lunch, depending on whatever your lunch is, you can see that on chain. It's all super transparent, super secure, and all the funds are segregated from our company money and things like that. So that's actually one of the things that isn't immediately apparent. And then also, when you're spending, you're not spending out of a fiat account. What's actually unique or very rare is you're spending from your stables, from your stable coin balance, which is also the majority of cards in Australia. Almost none of them you're spending directly from your digital asset balance. You typically have to convert or do something in the middle.
Interesting.
So now that we've built all of this cool infrastructure and tech, we're going to Europe. We're also running pilots into the Philippines so that people can start to send stables cross-border, free and instant.
There's a lot of remittance that goes on in the Philippines. A lot of overseas foreign workers, etc.
70% of the economy of the Philippines is remittance-based. They have some of the highest crypto adoption and some of the highest peer-to-peer volumes of wallets. So there's a lot of like macro factors that make it a cool country for us.
Fantastic.
And then also we've got, so there's a lot going on. I just don't know where to start, where to stop. But those are the headlines until the end of the year.
Okay, and the getting into the unique selling proposition and back and forth on that, and it definitely ties into where you guys are going at in the future. You've got the thing that you're really good at. You're taking that to the market, and people are really seeing it out there. When we made the announcement, we saw that people in the community know about stables, and people that we didn't even know about stables are starting to come out, which is beautiful, right? And so on that note, what does, this is the way that we end, the community show every single time, because we want to know directly from you, Erez, what does community mean to you?
A short answer is everything. I'd say for me as a business leader and founder, on one hand, you've got team.
Okay.
They're people. And you respect the people, you treat them well with your values, you do right by them. On the other hand, you've also got community. You need to build the team, you need to have investors probably, but also you need to build a community of engaged people that enjoy what we do. So from the very beginning, we have spoken and nurtured a community. We've been very deliberate, especially in the digital asset space, to do things methodically and with integrity. And that permeates all the way down to our infrastructure and separate wallet balances. So I think a lot of people say community is everything. I think for us, it is literally our business. It is.
Yeah, wow.
It is our business. It is like one of the highest priorities. And now that we're in a stage where the product's kind of ready, it's going to be a huge focus of ours. So we've done in the past like community NFTs.
Yeah.
We've done like community rewards. We've done community competitions. We do like monthly community updates on the same level as we send investor updates. Like, not really, but yeah, it's like investor updates a little bit different content. But
of course, yeah.
You know, like all throughout this journey over the last 3 years, like there's been some sort of action, even though there's no necessarily product that they can use. And that is how we are where we are today, because people have engaged from the community with us and us back to validate, number one, that people want this. Number two, that when they're using it, that they're getting value or utility from it. And like even right now, we have people interviewing people from the community.
I love it.
To know like, what are we missing?
Yeah.
What else do you want?
Keep going,
Or
kind of thing. Yeah.
what can we do better?
Yeah.
And the community gives you feedback all along. Like every day, pretty much maybe not every day, but most days, someone comes along, has an issue, or they KYC, they need to upload a doc or whatever. We are there. As founders, we are there on that chat bot, on the chat intercom, typing back. And I love that. We all enjoy that a lot. But also we're getting feedback like, I love your app, or this is super simple, keep on going. And like for us in the trenches, like that's really encouraging.
It's
and
live.
I just hope that over the coming months and years that, you know, we can give back and engage. And there are a lot of people that are starting companies that I help or sit down with that I've always done. So I'll continue to do that. And yeah, big hats off to people. Like it's all organic, where we have not spent $1 on marketing, not $1. So to get this far, that's community driven. So I'm very conscious of that, and we'll continue to invest and nurture that for sure.
Sounds like a big thanks to the folks that are watching this,
If I
right?
had a hat, I would take my hat off.
Next time, I'll bring you a hat next time.
Yeah.
But on that
Big
note,
top hat.
exactly. Thank you so much for coming down. Thank you so much for being part of this. We're going to hear more from yourself and Bernie and others in your community as part of the rest of the group, and see them at the meetups. We'll be over in Perth soon.
Yeah.
Right, and
We're
other
doing
events.
a roadshow, an Australian roadshow. I think you'll see it in either Stables on Twitter or LinkedIn or something. But yeah, it's going to be action-packed.
Click on the links below, folks. But for now, Erez, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it, man.
Cheers.
See, got a hat.
That's it. Cut.